Hello everyone, welcome to Redbust US channel. In this video, we'll look at the recent news that was announced by US Department of State regarding US visa interview waivers for H1B, L1 and other visa holders, including the Dropbox stamping rule that got extended. So we'll cover all of these aspects today. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, do subscribe for getting regular updates. In terms of what we will cover, so this is what we'll cover. We will look at this background for why they've done this, and then we look at the specifics regarding the requirements for waiver, and then we look at how is it applicable for F, J, and M visa holders. Also, we look at how does the 48-month rule work and what has been extended. Yeah. So before we get started, let's look at what is the news. So this is the news. This is on travel.state.gov, which is nothing but US Department of State website, right? Where they have made this announcement, and also this is on the US Department of State direct website where they also announced this. So both of these news came in yesterday, and we'll look at specifics about what was covered in this, right? So just to give you a background, why US Department of State has taken this drastic step is fundamentally a few things, right? So they were not able to open many in-person appointments due to the social distancing situations with COVID. So that's the main reason. And there is a huge backlog that that they need to really cover, right? And there are many visas that they need to issue. They're not able to give these slots. So that's the second reason. And the third one is, in one of the interviews, they actually told that most of the consulates across the globe are not set up for social distancing, right? When they designed the buildings, they designed to certain capacity. Now they're not really set up for social distancing. So the capacity is very, very low. And you can't just solve this by adding more people. That's one of the things they said, right? Somebody asked, why can't you add more people and get this solved? So they said it cannot be done. And moreover, right, their staff are not fully available because of this COVID situation, and some are not able to travel, all these sorts of things, right? And also with this new variant, right, Omicron variant that has come up, right, the local conditions are very dynamic, and we really don't know, right, what's going to happen. So considering all of these, right, they're just like, okay, let's do something about it, right? And the most important part they mentioned in the news announcement is, the US temporary work visa holders are actually key driver for US economy, and now many of them are not able to return, or some of them are not able to even travel, right? If you're a first-time H1B holder, you can't even travel. So all of these are creating issues for them. So that's why they want to address this as part of the new announcement. Excuse me. Now let's look at what they waived for H1B and H4 holders. So what they said is, after consulting DHS, US Department of State, so they are telling that they're going to give authority to the US consular officers to waive in-person appointments for certain temporary work visa holders. Again, this is not like a blanket waiver for everybody. It is applicable only for people who qualify, and this is up to the discretion of the consular officer. Very, very important thing, yeah. And on top of that, first thing is who are eligible for this, right? So in terms of temporary work visa holders, so the list of visa holders are H1B visa, which includes, they say, basically H1, which includes H1B, H1B1, all sorts of things, right? The Singaporean Chile visa and all sorts of things, yeah. And H4 visa holders, H3 visa holders, L visa includes L1A, L1B, L2, all of them, right? O visa holders, these are extraordinary ability visa holders, P visa holders, Q visa holders, all of these visa holders are more or less, temporary work visa holders, right? So all of these people will be eligible for this in-person interview waiver if they meet certain requirements. So let's look at that now. So the requirements for getting this interview waiver are as listed below. So they need to meet all of them, yeah, not just one of them. So they need to have petition approved by USCIS. So this is nothing but, your employer would usually apply for this, petition using I-129 form, and they would get this approval. So this anyway is nothing new. So you would anyways have this. So there's nothing new here. So you need to have that approved. The second one is you need to be applying for it in your home country, or home country in the sense your country of nationality. For example, if you are from India, you need to apply from India only, right? You're Indian national, or your country of residence. So the country of residence is nothing but where you are staying now. Imagine you are an Indian living in Germany or Singapore or any of these countries for work or whatever reason. So that is your place of residence. So even though you're Indian, but your residence is a different country, you can apply for that, apply for that. So that is the second clause. What it means is that you can't go to like third country nationals, some country just where you travel to get this stamping. So you can't do that. Yeah. So that is the whole point, because some people in the borders, right? Like let's say if you're in the US, you would actually travel to Canada, Mexico to get stampings. So in that cases, that is not applicable here. That is the key important part they want to highlight there. And the third one is you need to have any kind of visa approved. So basically you need to have, let's say you're applying for H1B visa, you need to have some sort of visa, US visa in the past. It could be F1, B1, anything, doesn't matter. So you need to have some sort of visa approved, US visa approved. That's the key part. And also you should have never been refused US visa stamping. So this is also a requirement for Dropbox stamping. So you still have to follow that, right? You should have never refused a US visa stamping. And let's say if you were given a 220 administrative processing, that also should be approved. Yeah. If you're not, then you won't be eligible for this interview waiver. So the last one is, they should not have any potential ineligibility aspects. This is not clear. Basically, they just say that. I really couldn't understand what they mean. So some of these could be like, it could be some things or some annotations like clearance received or some of these things, right? We don't have the specifics, but this is some kind of like a gray area where they say like, if they believe that there is something that is blatantly ineligible, then you cannot avail this. Yeah. So these are all the key requirements. And the most important part is it's up to the consular officer discretion. It is not like if you meet all of them, you're getting interview waiver. Yeah. So it doesn't mean that, right? So it's up to the discretion. So we'll have to see how they implement this, but it says clearly up to the discretion of the consular officer. Now, there is some difference here for the visa waiver applicants. So VWP stands for visa waiver program. So these are a set of countries that have some agreement called visa waiver program where they don't need visa to travel to the country. So there is a list of countries. You can check the US Department of State. So if you're from one of these VWP countries, then your condition is slightly different because you don't really need a visa, right, to travel to America. So that's why your condition is slightly different. So the first requirement for you is you need to be a citizen of VW designated country. So very, very important. The second one is you must have traveled to US using ESTA. So this is something that excuse me, that visa waiver program citizens use if they want to travel to US. So they use something called ESTA to travel. So this applicant who's applying for like H1B holder from a VWP country, they need to have traveled US at least once using ESTA. So that is important part. And the last one is again gray area, no apparent ineligibility or potential ineligibility. So they don't clearly define what this is, but yeah, just means that you should be generally eligible. Yeah. And also one important thing to note is it could be your first visa stamping as well, because if you're from a VWP country, then you don't need a visa, right? You use ESTA to travel. So in such cases, you may be going for visa stamping for the first time. So maybe it's the first time your petition is filed by the employer. So even if you're in such kind of situation, you're still eligible to get this interview waiver. So this is the most important part. Now, both of these, right? So there's an interview waiver for these temporary work visa holders, H1B, L1, all of these, right? Whatever we covered so far, be it a regular country or a VWP country, it's valid until end of December. Yeah. So this is almost end of December 2022, which is basically almost a year, right? Starting from January all the way. It's like you have like an entire year for this. So this is really a significant move that they have done, right? So this is like I would say the validity. Now, on top of the temporary work visa holders, they also are giving interview waivers for FMJ and visa holders, right? So these are something not new. In fact, they had this policy that came in earlier this year, where they were waiving interviews similar to what we just explained for H1B holders if you meet certain criteria. And this is applicable for FJM, right? And which are F1, F2, all kinds of visas, right? And we're just reviewing the criteria again, right? So they must be applying in their home country of residence or wherever they are, right? Which is a consular district, they say it. Like let's say similar to the same country where you're living. The second one is you must have previously issued a US visa, and the third one is never had any VS visa refusals, including the 220. So this is exactly same like what we see in H1B, right? So this is what is applicable for FJ. And also the last one is of course gray area one, which tells you should not have anything apparent ineligibility or potential ineligibility. So all of these you need to meet. Again, this was issued earlier this year, and I couldn't even find the press release because it's actually only an archive right now. So yeah, so that that is what it is, right? So these are all typical requirements for FJ and M visa holders. So let's say you're in a country from, you're an Indian citizen and applying for F1 visa. So you need to have some kind of visa issued in the past. Otherwise, it doesn't apply to you. Yeah. So it's very, very important. So, so excuse me. So these are some of the aspects, right? Now, if you are from a VWP country, then it is slightly different. Yeah. So one is basically similar to the past, like whatever we just explained, but few got added, right? So one is you need to be a citizen of a VW designated country, which is they have a list of countries, right? So you need to be part of that country, a citizen of those country, and then you need to apply for the US visa from your home country or the country of residence, right? Or basically nationality, right? So that's what they mean, right? So both of that. And the third one is you should have traveled to US using ESTA. So this is something that got added this time. So in the past, they didn't have this clause. Now they say that you have to have traveled to US. And the reason for this is, when you travel to the US, they actually know they verify your records and everything, and they get your details. So that's why they're able to use that information to actually do some kind of risk assessment and then, give you that. So that's why they want you to travel, have that as an entry pending. And the last one is, again, apparent no ineligibility or potential ineligibility. Again, this is not very clear. So yeah, I don't know the specifics. So we'll have to see what they mean, right? And again, all of these are valid until end of 2022, which is essentially December 31st, 2022. So these interview waivers will be eligible until that particular date. Now, in terms of US visa renewals, right? So this has been like many people have been like struggling to understand. Oh my God, when am I going to get this 48-month rule? Because it was supposed to expire. So if you look at the background, right? So usually interview waiver or Dropbox is only for 12 months. Then they extend it to 24 months. Then they extend it to 48 months. Yeah. So what it means is essentially if you have a visa expired within the last 48 months and it's in the same category, then you can go for a Dropbox based US visa renewal. And you don't have to go in person. And this was valid until December 31st. Okay, which is basically about a week left, right? Now, the US Department has extended this 48-month renewal rule, right? Until indefinitely. There is no deadline for this, right? So you can see on the screen, right? The screenshot we put in, it says has been extended indefinitely. So we no longer have this, uncertainty that, it's going to end by the end of the year next year, right? So they have really taken to next level and put this indefinitely. So there is no deadline as such. So it's a very, very good news for people who are applying for Dropbox, yeah. So or if you're already in the US and coming here for renewals. Yeah. And the other one of the things they also said was extended the H2 visa holders, which is temporary agricultural, non-agricultural workers. Right, so they also got extended until end of 2022. So overall, this is the summary, right? This is what has been, the interview waiver conditions. Now we believe that this is a very, very good move. Definitely it'll help a lot of people who are in the US and coming back to the country. It may or may not help everyone, because if you're the first time and you never had a visa stamping done in the past, you may not avail some of these, right? So, but nevertheless, it's really a good start because many of them are coming for renewals, or if you're a student coming back for work visa stamping, all of these. So it's going to help a lot of people. I wish they actually did it for everybody, but you know what? We can't expect everything, I guess, right? So now the next steps are. So how are they going to use the discretion? How this whole system will work? We have no details on that yet. Yeah. So we need to really wait for the consulate's guidance on this. So US travel doc system may get updated, because when they launched this 48-month thing, took some time, like a week or two, right, for them to actually introduce that changes. So now we need to wait and see how the consulates will handle these cases. So we'll definitely keep you posted. We have a large community of about over almost close to 100,000 people in our groups who are actually going to be giving us a lot of these inputs. So we will keep you all posted on these, right? So as of today, we don't have any details. If you look at Indian consulates or embassy, and there is nothing that's been given so far. So we need to wait, right, until what comes out of it. So overall, it's really good news, team, everybody. So hope it'll be helpful for many of you. Thank you again for watching for this entire long video. Hope it was helpful. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, do subscribe for getting regular updates. Do post your questions in the comments, and we'll try to respond whenever we can. Thank you for watching again.